Hey there, welcome back to Reddit XO, the best channel for Reddit cheating stories. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for more stories like these. Now, let's get into the video. Me, 33 male, with my wife, 33 female of 9 years. She cheated and I'm gone. I'll try to keep this short. Thank you to everyone who has helped break up threads and infidelity threads over the last several months. There have been numerous times when I have spent several hours going through the advice produced by these blogs. It has helped me in developing and executing a strategy. Here is a synopsis of the previous 7 months. We are happily married, have no children, and are both professionals. My job necessitates some travel, which isn't a major problem since her job needs her to work 80+ hours each week. We're both incredibly busy, but she's far busier than I am. A few things didn't match up in September, so the investigation started based on Reddit recommendations. It took me a long time to figure out what was going on since she was really good at concealment. Around November, all of the pieces fell into place, and outside assistance was enlisted to assist me in getting all of my ducks in a row. An attorney and a private investigator were also recruited. Everything was validated 100% by the PI in January, and that was all the evidence I needed. After considerable deliberation, this is the day when everything comes to an end. Since the visual confirmation earlier this year, I've been planning it. She will be served tonight at 4 p.m. in her workplace. She has no clue that this is coming from me based on discussions she has had with me and ones she has had with the other man. It will come as a surprise, but not as a shock. We make about the same amount of money and don't have a lot of things, so the divorce will be straightforward. The truck is now parked in front of the home, and it is fully loaded. I'm leaving the state. It makes no difference where I reside since I work in sales and my region encompasses half of the United States. My family gave me the items of furniture that I am taking with me when we married. She can get everything else, and she'll keep 3/4 of it anyhow. I'm driving the truck myself and can't wait to go to my new apartment and begin a new chapter in my life. My past 6 months have been misery on earth. Here's the question, and I believe I already know the solution, but I want to hear your thoughts. Her other man is a law office coworker. He is in his early 50s, has a wife, and 3 children. They don't seem to be in the same department, and he isn't her employer. He seemed to have a wonderful family and a wonderful life. Do I call his wife as I prepare to leave town? Do you want to find out? Is it just me being spiteful? Edit. She received the paperwork. For the past 15 minutes or so, I've been bombarded by phone calls and SMS. Her sister and mother have also called. I have yet to react to any of them. In addition, I'm relocating from a big metropolis in the Northeast to Florida. I'm hoping to go to South Carolina tonight and then on to my ultimate destination tomorrow. I'm now stopped for gas and coffee. And I sincerely appreciate everyone's good sentiments. Edit 2. I'm still driving, but I'm getting closer to my new house. Last night was a lot of fun. I didn't call her or text her. I did spoke to my mom and her sister on the phone. My statements to her sister were thoughtful and deliberate, as I expected her to hang up the phone with me and tell her everything. It was difficult to talk to my mother. It's an embarrassing subject to bring up with your family. My mother has given me her full support and will pay me a visit at my new home next weekend. Moms are the most wonderful people. Down a few days, I'll settle in and update everything. I've resolved not to contact my boyfriend's wife. I may alter my mind later, but for the time being, no communication with her is planned. I'm excited to start again. Update. I moved into my new house on Friday evening and spent Saturday unpacking and settling in. It's weird to have to start anew, but it's the correct thing to do. Thank you for all of your kind words and inquiries. Here are several examples. My soon-to-be ex-wife never received a response from me. Her phone calls and messages were unanswered till yesterday morning. The most recent one she sent claimed she would sign the paperwork and give me the divorce, while thanks. Her sister and I had a brief talk. We had a quick but cautious phone contact Thursday night, followed by a lengthy and extremely useful follow-up call on Saturday. While she wants to protect her sister, she knows why I did what I did and does not hold it against me. There does not seem to be any antagonism towards me after the call, which I'm glad for. Many of your options indicate that the other guy's wife will have to stay in the dark from me. For me, leaving the circumstance means not remaining engaged. If she phoned me and asked what was going on, I would tell her everything. There was no reluctance at all. The difficult thing is figuring out how I caught her. Last summer, there were several subtle changes in her conduct, and although each of them is minor in and of itself, they disturb me as a collective. She began to drink more, progressing from 1 glass of wine once a week to virtually every night. She lost her cool a few of times over little things that happen in life. Blowing out at a waiter, a man on the metro, a Chipotle child, and so on. She had never been like this before. She raged at her parents on the phone and hung up on them one night, which was completely out of character for her. But here's the one that started it all. One of our college friends, who had just divorced, was present at a wedding last autumn. The companion felt lonely and unhappy with herself. My wife advised that she sleep with someone to regain her confidence, and that she was okay with it if it was me. Needless to say, I was taken aback and would never do something like that again. The only thing I could think of and have her say that night as I laid in bed was that she was joking around and seeking for a way to relieve her guilt. And I was correct. It simply took a bit for me to figure out what was going on. As previously said, the man is an older man who works for the same company as she does. For a period, they met throughout the day at various hotels across town. She was entertaining him at our house while I was out of town. They utilized our spare bedroom, which I didn't realize until 6 weeks later. After determining how they communicated, burner phone concealed in her vehicle, and where they met, our home usually, it was simple for me to acquire all the proof I needed to submit paperwork. Thank you to a lawyer and a private investigator. You can hear and see everything in vivid detail with a PI. When faced with the harsh truth of what was occurring and what was being said about me to him, as well as what was happening in my own family, I shed many tears. However, as many of you have pointed out, she is the one who is at fault, and I can stand tall, knowing that I did the right thing. Story 2. Wife cheated and says she didn't cheat. So I was completely over heels in love with this lady, and we had been dating for 6 months when I decided to propose since it seemed so natural, and we had already made plans to have a family and grow old together. She gladly said yes, and it was the happiest we'd ever been in our lives. We were working in dead-end occupations until I discovered a method for us to further our careers via the California Conservation Corps. We moved away from home to live and work at a residential facility, and things were going well for the first 2 months. I had a lot of volunteer hours, she was the recycling coordinator, and I was elected president of the community. Everything was going swimmingly. My roommate became ill and was quarantined, so I was sent to an isolation dorm since we shared a room. During my period in solitude, I asked a few people to send my wife my way so that we could communicate and spend time together. She never showed up. I was furious with her the following day and told her so, and she told me we needed to discuss. She stated that we weren't the proper people for each other and that we weren't a good match. I had never felt so passionately about someone before, so this caught me off guard and caused me to have a panic attack. About 6 hours later, I went to chat to her again, and she told me that she had a couple of hours with this other man who lives and works with us, and he also fingered her. My gut and heart both fell. The next day, I sought an emergency transfer to a new job location, and they informed me that I would have to wait. I had to wait 3 weeks to get out of there while she was having an affair with another guy right in front of my eyes. For 3 weeks, I was in hell. I accepted the move and assumed that the distance would be beneficial, but I was unaware that the harm was still occurring to me. I acquired panic disorder and extreme sadness as a result of her. I experienced 20-25 panic episodes in a month that I had never had before. At one point, I experienced visual hallucinations of her and heard her voice inside my brain asking me to commit suicide. Things deteriorated to the point that I needed to leave my job and concentrate on counseling and mental health. It's been roughly 3 months and things are now beginning to improve. I recognize that I drove her away from me, but I did not drive her into the arms of another man. I can only accept responsibility for my actions, not hers. It irritates me that she told me she didn't cheat because she had an emotional link to the other person and knew in her brain that she was separated from me even though she never told me she wanted to be separated. The real kicker is that she is a psychology major. It gets better, my friends. I went through hell and came out the other side, albeit I still feel like a shell of the guy I once was.